Hey everyone, I'm doing my next chapter of my John Maxwell. So I'm finishing off the section today on competence. And the scripture today was 1 Timothy 3, 1 to 13. So that's basically focusing on deacons and overseers. And it gives us different characteristics of people who are put into positions of responsibility and what we can look for. So the first question was, which of the qualifications listed for church leaders are related to competence and which are related to character? So when we look at competence, it's basically how we are doing things and the ability to teach, to manage our own households, to be temperate, to prove ourselves trustworthy. Those are all areas of competence. Now, in some of our lives, we do have injustice. We do have people in power that abuse and promote evil. And their thinking is that, oh, well, our intentions were good. But if they're not following the laws of the Bible, if they're not following God's justice, it doesn't matter what their intentions were. It's the same as, imagine if I went to my doctor and I'm borderline diabetic, and he says to me, carry on eating carbs, carry on drinking alcohol, carry on having as many sweets as you like, don't worry about it. If you become diabetic, then we'll just deal with it then, and we'll give you some medication. If you go blind, don't worry, we can put you into a home and the people in the home can look after you. Just carry on and just be happy, do what makes you happy. Would you consider that to be a good doctor? Or would you consider that to be an idiot? Surely you'll consider that doctor to be an idiot, because any logical person would know that you're not promoting life by doing that. If I go to my doctor and I'm overweight, and my doctor says to me, oh, Belinda, you know what, you're overweight, but carry on, don't worry about it, just do what makes you happy. After all, life is short. Do you think I'm going to want to go back to that doctor? I'm not going to want to go back. So it's the same thing with our faith. We have to be able to see where we are competent and where we are able to use our skills, not only in the church, but also when we go out into our workplaces. There are many times that, in fact, my whole career in Canada, I get fired because I try to help the companies, I try to do good, I try to show them that, look, this is the problem. They'll come to me and they'll say, oh, we have a high turnover. And I'll tell them, well, did you look at this? You're not giving people references. Did you look at why your executive assistants don't want to stay? Oh, no. Then they send me a cease and desist because they don't like the message that I'm giving them. It was the same in today's scripture where Jesus is angry because people are obstinate and he's healing on the Sabbath. So sometimes our anger is justified if there's a mistreatment taking place, because that's what keeps happening to me. Other people are prospering, they're building their homes, they're traveling, they're retiring, not even in their 60s yet, they're retiring. Because they've worked hard, they made their money, and me, every opportunity I get, they do the same thing to me. Oh, we don't have a position for you, sorry about that. Oh, there's no budget to take you with us to England, sorry about that. Oh, I can't help you, I've also got my own expenses, sorry about that. But when they need somebody loving, when they need somebody who's capable, when they need somebody who's temperate, when they need somebody who is faithful, who do they come to? They come to me. And my life is suffering. The same way Justin Trudeau, when he came into government, we didn't have MAID and all this. One of his ministers put a private bill in because she wanted it and promoted it. And they didn't put any safeguards in. So they said, oh, don't worry, we are going to put safeguards in. We're going to make sure that this is not going to be abused. And now it's being abused. And yet they are the people running the country. and they're running families into the ground and promoting their own corrupt people, their own people who turn a blind eye. The same thing happened at Teleperformance. People are taking their phones onto the floor. I'm reporting it. Oh, don't worry, we'll speak to them. You just do your job. And they retain them and they let me go. So this is the society that is being built today. And that's why Donald Trump is being so hard on Canada, President Trump. Because they knew what was happening. They knew about the drug trafficking. They knew about what was happening at TD. They knew about what was happening. And they just said, oh, laugh out loud. We'll deal with it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. No big deal. What's the big deal? You just carry on, man. Do your work and keep your mouth shut. Isn't that the culture that they're promoting? And who's getting punished? People like me. And then character, it's asking us, I've already covered some of this in my examples, but character is people who are gentle, not drunkards, not quarrelsome, not lovers of money, and people who are faithful. And there's a difference between wanting to earn enough so that you can make ends meet, so that you can buy a property, so that you can spend time with your family, and loving money. There's a big difference. And then the second question is, can a person possess good character and not be competent? Can someone be competent without having good character? What usually happens in each of these instances? So for me, my answer is you cannot do one without the other. Lack of character leads to incompetence. Because if you don't have character, if you don't have a strong character, and you turn to alcohol, you turn to drugs, you turn to partying, and then you say, oh well, the government's selling this, so I'm just going to go and buy some hard drugs today the same way I buy my popcorn, and then say, well, it's the government's fault. That's not really having a strong character. And that's why our society today in Canada is failing. And we have increasing food banks usage, we have increasing lack of tolerance, we have incompetent people being kept in the jobs. And they want me to pass their American tests. Well, sorry, I did not grow up in America. So if I'm not passing your test, it doesn't mean I'm incompetent. Because I didn't make Employee of the Month for 5 years on every job I had, and even before that, just because I can't pass that test, that particular test that you have geared towards Americans. And that is what is happening. And people are cheating blatantly in the exam before they go onto the floor, asking their Indian friends, which is the answer? What did you put for this? What did you put for that? And the trainer's just ignoring it at Teleperformance. And she's putting them onto the floor. She knows they're taking their phones onto the floor, and the operations manager is saying, I'll talk to them. And they're carrying on doing it. And I'm the one left to sit at home without a job. So is that promoting good, or is that promoting evil? You think. Why is it essential for a good leader to possess both qualities? And the answer is given to us because out of that comes faithfulness, it comes assurance, it comes building up of our societies. And if we don't have those things, what is happening now in Canada is going to continue happening. So it starts with intentionality, it starts with taking action, and believe you me, it's not easy. It's not easy to continue to be resilient, to keep your faith, to keep choosing good when you can't even pay your rent every month. You can't even put food on your table. You can't even go out and buy a nice new pair of trousers for an interview. It's not easy to keep all these things. I just finished up setting my place after being here 22 years. I bought my piano and I bought my TV. And what did they do? They let me go from my job. The same thing happened when I was working at TD. I just bought my place and I told the managers, I told the executive, I just bought my home. Find me something else. Give me a position at the same pay and at the same rate and responsibilities and help me. Transfer me to England. I can go and work in England. Oh no, we don't have a position. We don't have a budget. They did the same thing at Teleperformance. So you can't tell me it's not being coordinated. It is. Because the same people, even if you talk to John Maxwell, who founded this group that I belong to, the speakers for the John Maxwell team, he told us, the person who started Primerica is one of my friends. You look at who attended President Trump's swearing-in ceremony. Who was there? The heads of the CEOs of Google, of Amazon, Jeff Bezos, they were all there. And what's happening today? Amazon's pulling out of Quebec. There's a new leader in America. And all the things that people like me were telling them to do, which they refused to do, are now coming back to hit Canada and to hurt Canada. They didn't want to listen. And my life suffered for it. But those who sow in tears, one day we will reap in joy. Even if it's not in this life, one day we will reap in joy. I don't have all the things I thought I would get when I came to Canada. I don't have my own property. I lost that because of the incompetence of the banks, and they wouldn't renew my mortgage, and discrimination. I lost many jobs because of discrimination. I don't have a car. I wanted to buy a car. I wanted to keep my property. I lost all those things, not because I did anything wrong, but because of other people who are stupid and other people making mistakes, not being able to set up my ID. Some of it was contracts where they said they only need somebody for a month. So I took those jobs because I didn't want to be sitting at home, and I got nothing good in return. I got nothing good, but I keep my faith. And that's why if I get an opportunity to go and work in America as an executive assistant or go back to England, I'll take it and I'll go. I had lots of comments on my posts, my videos on YouTube. I turned the comments off. People are saying, come to India. But all the people that are leaving India and are coming here are telling me, don't go to India. It's the worst. There's no human rights. There's nothing there for women. Don't go. So I just have to keep moving forward, and I have to keep applying. And I hope that I will get an opportunity in America, because if I do, I will leave and I won't come back. Because I've been treated like this from the time I came to Canada. It's not something that happened 1 or 2 years and then it's over and people promoted me and gave me a good salary. Teleperformance gave me a 50-cent increase after I had been there 2 years. And then after another year or so, they gave me $1 increase. And they expected me to live on that, what they were paying, $11.25. Pay my rent, pay for the phone, pay for the internet, commute to work. To them, that's a big salary. But for me, with my education, my credentials, the volunteering I've done in the community, the overseeing of others, the training of volunteers, it's not a good salary. It's an awful salary. It's an awful rate of pay. And they're making billions. They're not making peanuts, they're making billions. So that's the reality of life in Canada. And then there's just some group discussion questions. I went through them and I went through answering them for my own life. If you're interested in setting up a group, I'm happy to do that. But I focus on my faith. I focus on what I can do. Right now it's very cold in Canada and the pipes can burst when it gets this cold. So you have to turn the water on just a little bit, make sure you run it, and you have to keep your place warm. It's not just keeping it warm for yourself, it's also keeping it warm because it helps others around you. and then the pipes stay, they don't freeze up. The same way that we can freeze up and lose our limbs, the pipes can also burst. So we have to be competent, we have to be capable, and believe you me, it's not easy. It is not easy, especially when you're on your own. It is not easy. But I put my faith in God, and I pray that God would open that right opportunity for me. And if it's not here, it's not here. I really don't care. Because for me, I want to be able to save some money, buy my home, and I want to retire comfortably. I'm tired of living like this, where people call me darling and sweetheart, and they give me awards every month, and then when it comes to retaining me, they do bugger all. And then they use my accent against me. They tell me I'm swearing at them when I'm not. I'm tired of it. People shouldn't lie so that they can keep their jobs while the rest of us suffer. And I've also got my mom to think of and my family to think of. So I'm praying for that. And I wish you all the best too. I hope this talk helps you. But really and truly, Canada is in a shambles. It's never stopped. It was like this when Justin Trudeau came into power, and he's stepping down, and it's worse than when he took over. It's worse. Because they don't follow God's law. They follow their law.